Chapter 8. The Narendra Sarovar Jal Keli Leela, Gauranga Mahaprabhu and his associates. So they paired off here and there two devotees together to have contests, water splashing contests. It's said that wrestling and water sporting are two Vaishnava sports. So we see Lord Caitanya in the mood of a devotee. From his earliest of youth, he used to play in the water of the Ganga and have races back and forth across the Ganga. And sometimes Nitai would cheat when they were having a race, and he would grab a crocodile. With the aid of a crocodile, he would swim to he'd go to the other side and tell everyone, I won. But he was cheating. Underneath the water, he was holding onto a crocodile's tail and just gliding across, going like this. Mahaprabhu was doing, the breaststroke, whatever they call it, like this. And so this is water pastime. So Nityananda, let's see, it says, Advaita Chaitanya Dunhe Jala Fela Feli Pratame Lagila Dunhe Mahaputuali. Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya began by splashing water and great sport on each other. Advaita Kari, Advaita Harina Shane Va Ishvara Nirgata Nayane Jal Dena Paraspara. While forcefully splashing water in the eyes of each other, sometimes Advaita would be defeated, and the next moment the Lord would be defeated. So apparently there's no rules here in this water splashing. But generally, if you ever splash water on your friends, when you're splashing them, and while you're splashing, you make different rules also. Hey, don't splash in the eyes. Because if you splash in the eyes, you can't see the opponent, and you can just move out of the way. You're splashing over here, and they're standing over here. But they're splashing right in the eyes, and the same thing happened in Radhakund when Krishna was splashing water in Radharani. And Radharani and the gopis ganged up on Krishna and splashed him like torrentially, forcefully, like a tidal wave. And he became blinded, he couldn't even see. And then, in that condition, the gopis went up and they took his garland, and they took his earrings, and they took his necklace out of his top knot, and they started to rough him up a little bit. And then Radharani said, hey, no, she called off the Sakis, no, it's not fair, he's been defeated. He said, I'm defeated, stop. Because they splashed the out of him. They splashed everything out of Krishna. And all the Saki mantris were on the parapet and all surrounding the Radhakund. They're all saying Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri, Jai Shri, Jai Shri. All victory to Radharani in the water splashing contest. So Krishna, he was soundly defeated in that game. And then, although generally he defeats them, but this particular day he defeated them. And then he was boasting one time when Krishna defeated the gopis in water splashing. And then they retorted by saying, you can only be victorious in power games, in games of show of strength or power, like water splashing. But when it comes to some contest that requires intelligence, this thing always has to haunt us. Huh? When it comes to some contest requiring intelligence, then you can never win. For example, when we play Pasha Kela, which is a board game, move some pieces around the board, and you throw some dice to get a number, and then you move your pieces. So all the time, this requires a lot of skill and concentration and power to control those dice, the way they roll and what number they give. And always you lose. You lost your flute, you lost Mangal, and you never can win this game. And because it requires intelligence, and obviously you have Pashu Buddhi. You have the brain of a cow because you're a gwal. they really rub it into Krishna in a bad way. Then the gopis say, and what about the game of language? Because language is a sign of a cultured, intelligent person. This finesse and ability to weave and construct sentences and words and various poetic and romantic and cadence and arrangement and meanings and sounds. And so we have simple games of riddles, and you can never solve the riddles that we create, our Swami creates. You're always left dumbfounded and blubbering. Blah, 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 blah. You can't figure it out. You become a laughing stock of all the Sakis. But on this particular occasion, Radharani soundly defeated Krishna in water sports in Radha. So here they are. Advaita. He called Lord Caitanya down to save the world, and now he's splashing water on him. And they're Nara Leela, a grandfather and a grandson. Advaitacharya is 50 years older than Lord Caitanya, 60 years older. So on one side there's a 25-year-old sannyasi and they're in their Sarovar, and the other side there's an 80 or 90-year-old Acharya Pandit splashing water like little children. Advaita, I said that. So Advaita will be defeated, the next moment the Lord will be defeated. Nityananda Gadadhar Shri Puri Gosai Team Jane Jalad Yuda Karo Hari Nai. Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar, Puri Goswami, and all began water fights with one another. Yet none of them were defeated. So that's interesting, I guess. It's a draw. It's a win-win situation. They were dueling, water dueling and fighting, but no one was defeated. Everybody won. Datte Gupta Jala Yuddha Lage Bar Bar Paranande Dui Jane Karina Hungar. Mukunda Datta Bari Gupta had repeated water fights in which they shouted loudly in ecstasy. Paranande Karina Hunkara. Dui Saka Vidyanidhi Sarupa Damodar Asya Nande Jaladena Paraspar. The two friends, Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Sarup Damodar, smiled as they splashed water on each other in ecstasy. So this is Vrishabhanu Maharaj, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and Lalita Sakhi, Sarup Damodar. So they're having wonderful time splashing water on each other. Srivas, Sriram, Haridas, Rakreshwara, Gangadasa, Gopinatha, Sri Chandra Shekhar, Emata Anyonye Dena Sabe Jal, Chaitanya Ulase Sabe Haila Vival. Srivas, Sriram, Haridas, Rakreshwara, Gangadas, Gopinath, and Chandra Shekhar all became overwhelmed in the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as they splashed water on one another. Shri Govinda Rama Krishna Vijaya Nokai Laksha Laksha Loka Jale Harishe Virai Sejale Vishayi Sanyasi Brahmachari Sabayanam Deva Sejala Kridakai Hinase Chaitanya Maya Seistane Asite Paroshakti Nahikeya Napaya Dekite. Hundreds of thousands of people in the water took great pleasure as Balaram, Krishna, Govinda, the Vijay Vigraha, rode in their boat in the boat festival of Chandan Yatra. Sannyasis, brahmacharis, and householders all sported in the waters of Narendra Sarovara and floated in waves of leaves. It says, Sejali Vishayi Sannyasi Brahmachari. So you have the sannyasis and brahmacharis, and you have the Vishayis. So the sannyasis and brahmacharis are distinguished from the Vishayis, at least they're supposed to be, because they're supposed to be strictly in control of their senses. Vashavegam, Manasakravegam. And the Grihastha section has some license for some cruising in the field of sense gratification. As they say, that term was mentioned by Prabhupada. The grihastas have sort of a license to drive on the road of sense gratification, but they shouldn't use their license. Or let's say they shouldn't become licentious. use their license in the wrong way and become licentious. But we see that Prabhupada actually wanted his grihastas to live like Goswamis. He wrote a letter to Guru Das when he was a temple president in Vrindavan in 1975 or so, maybe 76. And he said, those grihastas, whatever grihastas are staying in Vrindavan, they should live like the 6 Goswamis. Nidra, Hara, Vihara, Kadi, Vijato, Chatyanta, Jivantriya. Vrindavan is a place of bhajan. It's not a place of varna or ashram. It's a place of bhajan, nirjan bhajan. And bhajan is transcendental. Whether one is married or unmarried, or single, let me say married or unmarried, or in any particular ashram, and living in Vrindavan means Vrindavan bhajan. Prabhupada wrote one prayer called Vrindavan Viraha Bhajan, I think it's called. Vrindavan Viraha Bhajan. And he talked about his family, he wrote, they were just a list of names. They didn't mean anything anymore. Because once one enters the land of Vrindavan, this is the land of no return. This is the land of no return. This is Muktidam. This is a place of liberation. Mathura Puri and Benares and Ayodhya and Dwarka and Haridwar and Vishnukanchi, several places around India are extraordinary locations that the power of God is there in the place itself. God can liberate one from birth and death, and God's holy Dham can liberate one from birth and death. This is the power of the holy Dham. So when one enters here, and he's entering the path of immortality, he can get liberated here easily. Hina se Caitanya Maya se stani asite arvadash. The influence of Lord Chaitanya was such that less fortunate persons could neither see nor enter that place. So you had that stan, that Chaitanya Yogamaya stan, that beautiful Leela was going on with the Lord and his devotees in the Narendra Sarovar. One requires adhikar to enter the Leela, or Yogamaya to grant entrance, Yogamaya Purnamasi. She's the entrance giver to the Leela. That's why in the Gaudiya Sampradaya there's worship of Yogamaya and Purnamasi and meditating on Yoga Feet. Because without that Karo Shakti Nahi Kena Napaidekite. On one's own, one does not have the Shakti, the Jiva Shakti. The Jiva is Tatastha Shakti. That is not enough power. Because the Jiva Shakti is the Shakti of his minute nature, which is Tatastha. He's Tatastha Shakti. There's some Maya, Mahamaya there and Yogamaya there. Mostly, he can't enter the Leelas of Krishna unless Yogamaya becomes predominant and saturates his being. And then he can see what is Naham Prakashya Sarvasya Loko Yogamaya Samamrita. That Prakash, the Leela will not be Prakash if we're in Mahamaya. We have to be in Yogamaya. So Yogamaya has to descend and bathe our soul and take us there by the hand. Purnamasi is a personality. She takes one by the hand into the Leela. So no one that was less fortunate, that wasn't favored. Caitanya Maya se stane asite. Caitanya Maya means Yoga Maya. The spiritual energy, the internal potency of the Lord must make the arrangements for that divine Leela with the Lord, that connection with the Lord and that spiritual energy, that Yoga Maya, means that Maya, that energy that's made of transcendental potency, the Sandini, Madhini potency, Yoga Maya. Alpa Bhagye Sri Caitanya Goshti Nahipai, Kevala Bhaktira Vasha Chaitanya Gosai. Those who are less fortunate cannot be counted among the associates of Lord Chaitanya, who is controlled only by devotion. So this is Alpa Bhagye, Kevala Bhakti, Vasha Chaitanya. Say Prema Vashibhut. God is controlled. Vasha means control. Vasha. Kevala Bhakti Vasha, only the pure devotion, not by Bhagya. Alpa Bhagya. Bhagya means piety, good deeds, Sukriti. Only that cannot control the Lord, and there's so many verses about that in the purport. Bhakti vina kevala vidyaya tapasyaya kichu nahi hai savi dukkha mantrapai. Without bhakti vina, then kevala, without kevala bhakti, then vidya, tapa, so much knowledge, so much austerity, but without kevala bhakti, zero. Kichu nahi hai, has no value. Dukkha mantrapai, they only bring misery. So there's some verses to describe this from 11th Canto Bhagavatam, Uddhava Gita chapter 14, verse 20 and 21. Krishna is he's saying that I cannot be controlled by anything with pure bhakti. Even those that engage in mystic yoga and Sankhya philosophy, punya, karma, Shastra, Swadhyaya, studying the Vedas, tapasya or tyag, it can't attract me. Only by unalloyed devotion with faith can one obtain me. Of course, this theme is there everywhere in Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti mama vijanati yadanyashasmi tattvatam. It's only by bhakti and faith that Krishna can be attracted and attracted to come to one and to reveal himself to one. I am naturally dear to devotees who take me as the only goal of their loving service. By engaging in pure bhakti, even dog eaters can purify themselves from the contamination of the low birth. Generally, it's told in the Vedas that birth can only be purified by rebirth. You're born as a Shudra, then you have to do so many, follow the Smriti Shastras and do so many activities according to your Varna, and then you'll get purified. Next life you'll be a Vaishya. You'll be elevated, promoted. The only way to purify the deficiencies or doshas of your birth is to live it out and then to take rebirth and get a better chance next time. But as it's saying here, that if someone takes the bhakti, even in this life, they can nullify the contamination of birth. And it's even said that one may be a dog eater, but he becomes a pure devotee, he's eligible to engage in Vedic sacrifices and perform fire yogas with all the qualification of Brahman by birth. He was born a Brahman, raised a Brahman. So this is the exaltation of devotion. It has such transformational powers to turn a dog eater into a Brahman in terms of purity of mind and purity of desire and action. But Jiva Goswami says in commenting on this verse that although this is true, that the Vaishnava becomes eligible to perform homa or Vedic sacrifice and yajna, he generally doesn't do it to not upset the social harmony. The basic expectations and understandings that the normal masses of people have is that Brahmins are eligible to perform yagas and Shudras aren't. Okay, they may accept that the Shudra became a Vaishnava and he's worshipping Ram or Vishnu or Krishna, but that he's eligible and purified and qualified to actually perform Vedic yagas and pujas, they can't accept that, although the Shastras say that. And it's a fact. they don't have the faith in the Shastras, although they're Brahmins, they're somewhat Gnostic in a little bit sense. They don't have full faith in some of these rather bewildering points of the Shastras, because they don't understand the unlimited nature and power of bhakti. Akin to the verses there, Bhakti Bhajan, Kintu Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajan. Brahma says that karma gets destroyed, not only corrupted karma, which we're suffering from in this life, eating the fruits of the good and bad karma, but even aparabdha karma, just waiting the fruit to die. And then the bijam and kutam, proclivities and seed of karma. All of that can be eliminated by Shuddha Bhakti in one life. Someone is born with so much dosh, kalir dosha, dei rajan, asti eka mahagunan, Kali Yuga, janmana jayate shudra, Kali Yuga made janmana jayate shudra. Everyone's by birth is practically shudra. So kalir dosha, dei rajan, anyone born in Kali Yuga is full of dosh, difficulties, faults, deficiencies, weakness, laziness, foolishness, tendency for contamination and low behavior, no attachment, natural inclination to serve or worship God. But if Bhakti Devi enters into one's heart and graces one's life, then amazing, astonishing transformations can happen. A gross, heartless, merciless hunter can be turned into the most tolerant, respectful and humble devotee of the Lord. So much advance in consciousness and so much compassion will manifest as a result of the effulgence of bhakti in one's heart. One will manifest and feel so compassionate that he won't even want to harm an ant if he's about to lie on the ground to pay his respectful dandavats to Parvat Muni and Narada Muni, his guru. He'll look twice and see, oh, there's ants on the ground in front of me where I'm about to lie down. So then he'll take his chadar and very gently sweep the ground to remove the ants so he can lie on the ground without disturbing the life progress of any ant. This is amazing for someone who was previously half killing animals, shooting them in such a way that a hunter knows how to kill an animal with one arrow if he hits the right spot. And almost like a quote-unquote painless death. But then there's other ways where you can immobilize a living entity and they can't really run away, so you have your prey. You've caught your prey, they can't run away. But you immobilize them and they can't walk because you shot them in the shoulder blade or the ankle or whatever. And then they just roll and wriggle and writhe on the forest floor until they die. And so Mrigari, of course Mriga means animal and Ari means the killer. It's called Mrigari the hunter, but Mrigari means hunter. The word Mriga, Ari, enemy of animals. So the hunter, we'll just say the story of Narada and the hunter. So the hunter was enjoying, that's how hard his heart was. And he became so soft-hearted by bhakti. Practically he must have been extremely advanced, such a soft-hearted, Because you see, as you go, I mean, he had developed incredible compassion and understanding of life. They wouldn't even want to harm an ant. From such a cruel consciousness to such a broad-minded, sensitive consciousness, by the touch of bhakti. Such power of transformation. This is the proof here. So he's saying that knowledge and austerity have no value without Kevala Bhakti. Sakshate dekaha ese nilachale eteke Caitanya Sankirtana kutuhale. One can realize the superiority of devotional service by the blissful Sankirtan pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Nilachala. Sakshanteki Nilachala, by seeing directly a Nilachala, eyewitness accounts of bhakti in action, the bhakti that was displayed ATK, Caitanya Sankirtan. Just see that what was manifested there. Interesting, I'd like to see what this translation says here. Sakshate dekaha esi nilacha. What was manifested and seen, what was seen, witnessed by everyone in Nilachala during Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan festival, that Kutuhala, that great happy blissful festival. So what was seen there, and this is kind of writing into it, that one could see and one did see, and we saw such an exchange of love, friendship, playfulness, and respect, and honor. Many, many types of feelings and bhavas and behaviors were exchanged one to the other as the two parties, Lord Chaitanya and the Puri Orissa devotees, greeted the Bengal devotees and the East Bengal, all coming to Nilachala at the meeting place of Narendra Sarovara. And then they of course enjoyed and they met and crying and embracing each other, just to recall all the things we read about. So that's what bhakti is all about, expressions of love. And love expresses itself in so many different ways, through respect, through honor, through play. They were lovingly playing, and lovingly offering dandavats, and lovingly chanting, and lovingly roaring the names of God, and happy to see each other, extremely happy. All this was the outpouring and expressions of their behavior, their loving sentiments. So one can realize the superior bhakti by observing, just witnessing the blissful Sankirtan pastimes. But it's more than just a musical performance or a group of... Sankirtan means a group of devotees with musical instruments glorifying the names of Lord in congregation. Okay, it's a musical performance. How is this establishing the superiority of bhakti, which is the translation here? Those with insufficient piety and good fortune are ineligible to enter the company of the followers of Sri Chaitanya. Gauranga is only captivated by unalloyed devotion, and without bhakti, nothing of any value is achieved. Material education, learning, penances, and austerity inevitably lead only to more suffering. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya performed his Sankirtan pastimes with the greatest divine pleasure, openly before the eyes of everyone in Nilachala, but not all could realize their transcendental nature. Many sannyasis, respected as Mahajans, great souls, had not the good fortune to recognize the Lord. I don't think we got there. That's next. So here this verse is being presented in this way. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya performed the Sankirtan with the greatest divine pleasure. Chaitanya Sankirtan Kutuhalai, openly before the eyes of everyone in Nilachala, but not all could realize their transcendental nature. So that's also more to the point. Sakshate Dekha Nilachala. Everyone in Nilachala directly saw it. That's translation. But not everyone that saw could realize. That's the feature of reality in general. Everyone sees the same reality, but how many realize what it means? We all see the same phenomenon. We wrote in that one sweet note. Most people in the world ask who, what, when, and where. But very rarely does anyone ask the question why. Why this happened? Or why these people are together? Or why this person came to me? Or why this... Who did it, where it happened, what happened, when it happened. This is about the extent of the inquiry. So we don't really perceive what's in front of our eyes, because its perception is much deeper than what you can see. Because the eyes are fallible and limited. The Shastras extend the eyes, extend the vision. Shastras extend the vision to enable us to see what's beyond our minds. our mind, the vision, the Shastras extend our vision so we can see what lies beyond our minds and our capacity to think. Because we can only think so far and we run out of thoughts. And then even our greatest thinking can't reach the toenails of God. And so many verses are there like that. So they saw they didn't see Krishna's on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and how many realized who he was? Not many. Most thought he had mixed ideas about him, but very few thought he was Bhagavan, God. Maybe Prabhupada said once 200 people or something. 200 Khandavas. A few hundred Khandavas had some idea, a clear idea that our Krishna, our cousin, our relative, our nephew, whatever, he's actually God, Bhagavan. Most everyone else thought he's some mundane, ordinary person like them, fighting him, and not even fighting it, driving the chariot. Shudra's work. There was some question as to what Krishna's Varna was. Is he a Kshatriya or is he a coward or a Vaishya? It's a mysterious personality. He's born of Vasudeva, was a king, a Kshatriya, with a huge palace and army and vast estates in Mathura district. And Devaki Rani, his queen, that's the mother and father of Krishna, people say that in Hastinapur. But then he mysteriously, before he could enjoy all that royal opulence, he went off to the village of the cowherds. And he was adopted by Yashoda and Nanda, lived as a foster child there. And he renounced all that opulence of Kshatriya royalty and pomp to live with no shoes. Have no shoes and sleep on the ground with his head not on a pillow stuffed with fragrant flowers, but his head was resting on a trunk of a tree, the root of a tree that came out of the earth, or on the thigh of a cowherd boy. Or sometimes he would rest with his head against the belly of a cow, or a calf. Cowherd boys, they sleep with their calves. They love their calves. He's Vatsa Gopal and the Vatsas. So when he got to the battlefield of Kurukshetra, is he a Vaishya, a Gwal, a cowherd? Is he a prince? Is he a king's son? Is he royalty? And then let's see what he's doing. He's driving the chariot? This is a Shudra's engagement. This is certainly not Kshatriya. It's not Vaishya, Gwal. He's the driver. And sitting down on the yoke of the chariot, controlling the whole thing, and all the mud and flying off the hoofs of the horses in his face, and it's not a very glorious service. It's not like the painting on the cover. The driver doesn't stand up there. The driver is invisible. He's down lower, he can't be seen. It's just Arjuna's commanding in a different kind of way. With body signals, he's communicating to Krishna how to move the chariot. We see in the Bhagavad Gita painting Krishna standing with reins. Very nice, respectful painting, beautiful painting, but the actual, and when it got started, there was no question of that. The reins, the man holding the reins and controlling the horses is not seen, only the bowman is seen. And he has this wall like this, and he's just tom 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 tom. Because the chariot driver's in front of him, he'll shoot the chariot driver. You have to have a clear vision here. Get down. So he's permanently out of sight. So when they say, oftentimes when you read the Mahabharata about the gruesome battle of the Kurukshetra war, They say that with 3 arrows Krishna broke the flag on his chariot, and 2 arrows he killed the horses. Then when it says he killed the charioteer, that's the significant thing, because once you kill a charioteer, then the car, there's no one to drive, there's no driver. So if you're sitting in the back seat, somebody kills your chauffeur, then what happens to your car? Probably fly off the road somewhere. So the chariot, just as soon as there's charioteer, the horses are shot and the charioteer is shot, then you're stuck. You better run fast or be a good fighter without the bow and arrow. So that's a little departure from the Jalkeli Leela, of course. But it's all Krishna's Leela going in different directions. Once Prabhupada was saying that the Sahajiyas, they only want to hear Ras Leela. There's only one Krishna, he's Leela, Krishna's Leela Purushottam. He only has one Leela, Ras Leela, and the Kunja Leela. That's it, bas. And this Leela with the cows, there's no such Leela with the cows and the cowherd boys. And Leela Kurukshetra, this is some other Krishna. Of course, we also agree with that in expanded form. This is not Leela. This is Dharma. This is also Leela. This is Yudhya Leela. This is fighting. Krishna didn't. He went there. He wanted to go there. He wanted to take part. So that's his Leela. Prabhupada said, what is there? It's also full of sweetness, all full of ras. And that might be a lot of Vira ras and Vivatsa ras and Chamatkar and Bhuta ras and all these type of Gona rasas are in exaltation there. So let's go on. So the Jeta Mahajan Nam Sannyasi Sakal Tehiteo Bhagya Karo Nahila Vayiral. All the so-called Mahajans and Sannyasis who were in Jagannath Puri were unable to see the pastimes of Lord Gauranga. As such, they were less fortunate. Aro Bale, Caitanya Vedanta Pattachari, Ki Kari Va Karina Kirtana Huda Hudi. These Mahajans and Sannyasis would say, why did Caitanya leave the study of Vedanta to make a big show of kirtan? He should be home in the library of the ashram, studying Vedanta. Tat tvam asi. Let me see. What does this mean? Tat, that. Tvam, you. Tat tvam asi. What does this mean? So these Mahajans and Sannyasis, they were saying, why is Lord Chaitanya engaged in kirtan? He should go home and study Vedanta. And Vedanta, the end of Vedanta is prema, and the prema is full of Leela. So Lord Chaitanya would prefer to be in Narendra Sarovar, relishing his Jalkeli Leela with Advaita, and all of his bhaktas laughing and enjoying. And then they went on to preach about it. Doesn't he know? These are the Mahajans and Sannyasis from the distance of lack of eligibility to enter the Leela. They could not enter the Leela, they could not take part in the Jalkeli, nor could they understand it. Although they were right there at Narendra Sarovar, Lord Jagannath's boat festival. And Mahaprabhu was in the water splashing with all his associates. Then they turned to each other and said, listen, Sarva de pranayama eseyati dharam nachibe kandive eki sanyasirakaram. The Mahajans and Sannyasis who were ineligible to enter Gaur Leela, they said, it's the duty of a sannyasi to always practice pranayama. But this sannyasi is dancing and crying instead. Is this the business of a sannyasi? So that's the opinion of us non-water splashers. Foolish people, the purport says, foolish, proud people consider dancing and singing an ecstatic love for Krishna as equal to dancing and singing based on material enjoyment. That is the foolishness of those who profess to be synthesizers of matter and spirit. So, if someone is involved with the synthesis of matter and spirit, he's a fool. Unless, when he synthesizes matter and spirit, if he actually finds a synthesis, then that spirit will make that matter dance in bliss. And this is what's going on. But not all those sannyasis are so foolish. Tahaite ye sava uttam nyasigan tanra bale Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahajan. The uttam nyasis, the better sannyasis, more highly evolved and realized, they would say, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is a Mahajan. Keha bale jnani, keha bale bharavakta. Prasham sena same keha na janena tattva. Some persons would call Gauranga a jnani. Some persons would call him a great devotee. In this way they would praise him without knowing his real identity. So, people have different ideas about what they see. Everyone's looking at the same thing and everyone has a different idea. It's true with the Lord and it's true with all reality. Whatever we see is not what is. Whatever we see is not what is. Oh, I saw. I heard. So I know. I saw, I heard, I know. Like Julius Caesar, Veni, Vedi, Vici. Veni, Vedi, Vici. I came, Veni, Vedi. I saw, Vici, I conquered. Veni, Vedi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. I saw, I thought, I misjudged. This is our three-way operating. I saw, I thought, I misjudged. I saw something of reality, a person, a thing, a phenomenon, and I thought about it, contemplated, and I made a conclusion, and it was wrong. So I was misjudged. No one's perfect, except Krishna. So meanwhile, back to the Vaishnavas, these are some of the unfortunate bystanders who could not participate in the water sport. So hopefully we will not be lined up with them. We will not think of Lord Chaitanya from the viewpoint of Gyan or misread his identity and think that he should be studying Vedanta. And we will be accepted in the inner circle of Lord Chaitanya's surrendered devotees who understand his identity and fully appreciate his presentation of his Madhurya Audharya Leela. Emata Jala Krita Range Kutuhale Karena Ishvara Sange Vaishnava Sakale. In this way, all the Vaishnavas enjoyed sporting in the water with Gauranga, Ishvara Sange, Vaishnava Sakale. Jal Krita Ranga, they were delighting in the playing in the water. Actually, devotees always delight. Everything is Krita now. There's Sankirtan Krita, there's Jal Krita, Bhogachan Krita, Rasa Krita. We say Rasa Krita means Ras Leela. Enjoying the ras, playing, sporting, delighting, krida. Purvayena jala krida haila yamanai se savavakta lai Sri Chaitanya Rai. Lord Chaitanya and his associates enjoyed the same water sports in the Narendra Sarovara that they had previously enjoyed in the Yamuna. So this is the indication of Gaur Leela reaching out to Krishna Leela, Gaur Leela becoming Krishna Leela, Krishna Leela becoming Gaur Leela. During Gaur Leela, the parikaras of Gauranga, Gauranga's advent, or manifestation is advent, in this place at pastimes of Jagannath Puri. And they're all in Dasya Rati with Lord Caitanya, all rasas actually, different moods of love, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhur, and the Gaur Lila and their Brahman forms. And then there are also Sakhis and Mandris, they have female forms in Krishna Lila. And they have all these same rasas there, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, the four rasas of Braj. So they're in Gaur Lila and they're thinking of Krishna Lila. And in Krishna Lila, sometimes Gaur Lila manifests. Radharani leads the rasa dance. Krishna's searching for her. He can't find her anywhere, and he goes into a kunja, Imli Kunj, underneath a tamarind tree. He lies there at the root of that tree. Nana Ratnani Vada Mula Vitapa Shiyukta Vrindavane. And he lies there at the root of that tree, dreaming about Radharani, remembering her form. So much mood of separation, longing for her association, hankering to see her again, crying and pining her separation, and just lost in his own samadhi, meditating about Radharani's beauty and sweetness and charm and elegance. And all of a sudden his whole body turns golden. Gaur Lila in the middle of Krishna Lila. And the Sakhis are searching everywhere. Krishna Kahan, and they come, wandered up past Yamuna Purim, Keshi Ghat, then they went by Govinda Ghat, and they went further past Shringaram Ghat, then they went to Imli Tala, and they found this demigod had crashed in his Pushpa Viman and landed in this kunja of size of Yamuna. He's resting peacefully underneath this tree. But then this golden form was some exalted demigod, with so much radiance coming from his body. And as the gopis went closer, they were thinking, who is this person? Looks so golden, it looks like Shama. And when they got closer, then they heard some very faint vibration coming from the mouth of this golden deva, this golden personality. There's some faint sound coming from his lips, which were barely moving. And they were saying, Radha, Radha, Radha. And then Radharani came. And then Mulita said, listen, this deva is chanting your name. There's some demigod. Radharani got close and heard her name and said, no one can chant my name like that, but Shyamsundar. And then when Krishna heard the name Shyamsundar, then he became again black, monsoon-like. So then Radharani was amazed, and she said, what is this? How you became me, or my color? Oh, you don't know, actually, there's Gaur Lila. There's a very nice Lila. And there's also Swapna Vilas Amritam, where Radharani dreams of, later maybe she dreams of some rasa dance, but there are all men there and they're dancing. And instead of kadamba trees on the bank of the Yamuna, there's all palm trees swaying in the wind, and the dark waters of the Yamuna, which they usually dance beside in the Maharas dance, are actually whitish green in color. And instead of all beautiful gopis, it's all beautiful Brahmins. And they're playing instruments and singing. And she sees this golden, beautiful person dancing, and well, she doesn't see herself there. She goes, where am I? The Vishnu tells this dream that Radharani had. And she woke up and she asked Krishna, what is this? I saw this dream. But everyone's gathered on the bank of a river, very much like the Yamuna. But there weren't kadamba trees there were palm trees, coconut trees, date palms, and betel trees. And there weren't all ladies and sakhis playing pakawaj and esraj and flutes and venas. They're all men there, young men and boys, and they're playing mridangas and kartals like we also play. And they're dancing beautifully in Ras, in the Ras Mandal. And there's one golden youth there of my dreams, I can't imagine, so beautiful, I've never seen before. And dancing in the middle of all those young men dancing under the moonlight on the banks of that river. I thought, is this Sharad Purnima? And this is Krishna dancing, but they're all men, and where am I? Where was I when that was going on? Was that golden youth of my dreams? Was that a projection of me? Was it actually me? Or if that was me, then where were you? I didn't see you, my Lord Shyam. Or if that was you in some form like that, then where was I? So Radharani was bewildered, was kind of perplexed about this dream. What does it mean? Oh, Guruji, I had this dream last night, that this thing, that thing. What does it mean? And Prabhupada, when I have one paper, I think I have notes of important instruction about Prabhupada's comments on dreams. He said, dreams are, don't pay much importance to dreams. Prabhupada said, don't pay much importance to dreams. And then, true to his spirit, Prabhupada will often say, the dreams of the spiritual master are very important. If you look at Prabhupada, if you want to do a search, a folio search on Prabhupada speaking about dreams, you'll see, he says, dreams are not very important. They're just, some you see one thing, you see some gold, and you see a mountain, and you dream of a golden mountain. It's meaningless, it's insignificant. And he says that. In another place, Prabhupada says, oh, a dream of the spiritual master is very significant, very important. I must think deeply about this. So Prabhupada, because there's many answers, and dreams can be significant. They may be foolish imaginative ecstasies or wishes. So then, all of it has to be confirmed with Guru Shastra and Sadhu. Whatever dream we may have, it should be. As I often tell the story of one gentleman in Delhi, I was out of station for some months, and I came back after a few months to Delhi preaching. And he said, oh, I had so many dreams of you this summer, you were instructing me, and I said, and all summer I've been trying to follow those instructions. I said, what were those instructions? And you said it was okay to chant 4 rounds a day, and I don't have to chant 16. It's all right, we don't have to be vegetarian. And we should follow one regulative principle is enough. I said, Acha, so you've been trying to follow those dream shiksha, swapna shiksha, dream instruction. Yeah, it's really helping me a lot. And I said, listen, I'm here, right? You can see, you can see me, you can see me and touch me, and now listen. You see, do you believe I'm real? Am I real or am I a dream? Are your dreams real and I'm a dream, or your dreams are unreal and I'm real? So believe it. You can call some witnesses. I'm here. I'm really here. I'm not a dream. And I'm telling you, you should follow the 4 good principles. You should chant 16 rounds of minimum every day. You said, oh really? It's like that? I said, yeah. Dreams are not that significant. So Lord Chaitanya is enjoying his water pastimes. Ye prasada pailena janavi jamuna narendra jalero haila se bhagya simha. The same mercy attained by the Ganga and the Yamuna was now attained by Narendra Sarovara. So obviously that means the mercy of being the place of Krishna's pastimes in Gaur Leela. The Ganga, of course, is the place of his Leelas, with all his devotees, and Ganga herself takes part and feels thrilling ecstasy by touching the body of the Lord and assisting and serving in his Jalkeli Leelas in Mayapur, Navadvip. And Jamunaji, she, from the very birth of Krishna, she was, her waters were being used for the Abhishek of Krishna from his very birth. Within 20 minutes of Krishna's birth, Yamuna was offering her Abhishek to Krishna. And from that day forward, every day afterwards, Yamuna water was brought for Krishna's bath. In fact, we see that when Krishna appeared in this world, then Vasudeva carried him across the water to Gokul. At that time, the waters of the Yamuna Devi, she of course is the personality, Yamuna Devi, and she was extremely blissful that the Lord was crossing over the Yamuna in a basket on the head of Vasudeva. So in that ulas, or that enjoyment of having Krishna walking across, then she rose up with her hands of her waves and she touched Krishna's feet as an abhishek, bathing his form. And from that day forward, every day Krishna would be bathed with Yamuna water. The gopis, Yamuna used to flow through Nandagram, through Gokul, and then when Krishna moved to Nandagram, gopis would always go to the Yamuna and collect water and water pots, and carry the water pots all the way up to Nandagam, to the top of the hill, for Yashoda Ma to bathe Krishna in Yamuna Jal. So from the very time of Krishna's birth, he's been bathing in Yamuna. And there's an arrangement with the Rajasthan government that the Radha Govinda temple in Jaipur, the main temple there is Radha Govindaji. Of course, Govindaji was originally in Vrindavan. He manifested in Vrindavan. And then deity moved to Jaipur to be under the safe protection of Jai Singh, protecting from the Mughal invaders that were desecrating the temples, as you may know, in North India. So there was a very powerful kingdom there. Even to this day, there's a bus that leaves at 5 o'clock every morning from Vrindavan bus station. There's a bus that leaves from the Vrindavan bus station, a Rajasthan government bus, and in the front of that box, in front behind the driver, invisible to the passengers, there's a metal box with a pyramid on the top of it, so no one can sit on it, a triangle pyramid. I asked the driver when I went to Jaipur by that bus, sometimes I went, I said, what is in that box? He said, this is Jamuna Jal. Every day I bring Jamuna Jal from Vrindavan to Jaipur for the bath of Radha Govinda. So from 5,000 years ago, all the way to the present day, Krishna is still bathing in Yamuna water. This is the speciality. So here we're describing Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela in Jagannath Puri, and he's having Jalkeli Leela with all his Brahmin friends, all the Pandits, Gangadas Pandit, Jagadish Pandit, and Gadadhar Pandit. All of his name is Mishra. His birth name is Vishwambara Mishra. His nickname was Nimai Pandit. Because at the age of 7 years old, he defeated East India's most powerful Sanskrit Pandit, who knew the 6 philosophies of India. And he also knew Vyakaran, and Chandas, and Kavi, and Naya, and so many subjects he knew. He was a great Pandit. His name was Keshava Kashmiri. He's from Kashmir. Keshava Kashmiri, it's in the history, you can read history also, 500 years ago. And he came with a large procession from Kashmir to Navadvip, which is West Bengal, 4 hours north of Calcutta. And he heard that there was a boy scholar there, a genius, extremely precocious son of Jagannath Mishra. His name was Vishwambara, nicknamed Nimai. And he wanted to meet this Pandit. So he came there with a huge procession of elephants and horses and chariots and a whole entourage of Brahmins, and because he was the king of knowledge. He was the Digvijay Pandit. He had conquered all the directions. He was victorious over all the Pandits and learned men of all directions of India, at least northeast India. He didn't really go down to the south, Kerala and Karnataka, but all north, the northeast. So he went to Navadvip, to Mayapur, which is the village of Nimai Pandit, and he debated with him. And Nimai said, "Oh Panditji, you're very intelligent and most respectful senior to me, can you please recite some verses in glorification of Ganga Mata, Ganga Devi, the Ganga? And he's on the spot, he composed 100 verses, speaking just one by one, perfectly composed verses. And Nimai Pandit was listening, very peacefully, quietly, attentively. It was full concentration and focus. And then he said, when he finished, concluded the 100 verses, the Digvijay Pandit said, what do you think? Very good, amazing, astounding, chamatkar, adbhut. How could you do this? 100 verses, charpada, 4 lines each verse, charpada, shlok, 100, basically 400 padas, 400 lines, 100 verses. And then he said, what do you think? Panditji, in verse 67, Nimai Pandit started to point out defects in the Sanskrit, in the grammar, and the endings, and the tense endings, and the meaning of the verse. And he said, in verse 71, and the Pandit was amazed. He said, how is it possible? He could find a minute, he could total recall, he had total recall of 100 verses. And then he found out the defects and flaws and the dosh, the kavya dosh in the Sanskrit. And then he defeated him. He actually defeated the Nimai Pandit. And the scholar was embarrassed. And he went home and he went into deep meditation that night on his Ishtadev, Saraswati. He's a devout worshipper of Saraswati. He did Saraswati Purashcharan. Purashcharan is an intense tapasya and penance to get the darshan of one's desired Ishtadev. Hanuman Purashcharan, or Durga Purashcharan, or Gopal, different Purashcharan. It's a type of rigorous, you feed Brahmins every day, a Brahmin dan with food, or so many days, you chant so many lakhs of Gopal mantra, many things you do like this. Many niyamas, and then you may get this tapobalam. So he prayed, oh my Ishtadevi, oh Saraswati, what has happened? What happened? Who is this? Then she appeared in the dream, gave spurti, vision, almost like darshan. You don't know. Listen, Panditji, this boy, Nimai Pandit, he is my Lord. He is actually Bhagavan. I worship him. He is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matal sarvam pravartate. He's the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Any power of vidya, vidya shakti, I have power of vidya, vidya shakti. It comes from him. Parasya shakti vedadaya shriyate. This is Krishna. That Nimai Pandit is that Bhagavan. He is that Krishna. The same Krishna has come 500 years ago. So you can never defeat him. You should surrender to him. Don't feel bad that you were defeated by God. You may defeat every mortal, but if God defeats you, it's not bad. I defeated every mortal, every man on this planet, but God defeated me. All right. He's a Juta. He's a Jita. So this is Nimai. So we're just discussing his Leelas in Jagannath Puri. And when he was bathing in the Narendra Sarovara, which is a large lake there, man-made lake for the pastimes of Jagannath, Chandan Yatra. In the evening time they have Nauka Vihar, boating pastimes there. So the Lord and all his parishads, they're bathing there and splashing water and chanting and sankirtan and enjoying they're playing. It says, Jal Krida Ranga Kutuhale. Jal Krida Range. It was enjoying bliss, delighting and splashing water, like young children. But they're grown-ups, they're pandits, they're married, they have children and grandchildren. They're acharyas and gurus. But in the association of the Lord, in the holy dham, for the pleasure of the Lord, for Leela. Leela means pleasure, Leela means playing. Leela means play, Leela means pleasure, Leela means love. Leela. So they're enjoying all these things. So we'll continue. Next class is on Sunday. Caitanya Bhagavata ki jai.